easy for people to remember those things. So instead of trying to remember, okay, I need to do this. Okay, when I went to the course, I remember they told me to do this and this and this when I visit. It's much easier to remember pets and what that all stands for when you're visiting than to try to remember something else that doesn't quite stick with you as easily. So these are the 4 main skills that we'll look for in each of the scenarios today. Proximity, presence, basically is how close you are to your animal. So you want to be nice and close to your animal at all times, whether you're standing or kneeling or sitting or what have you. Closer you are to your animal, the more you can be in tune with how they're doing and how they're feeling. Eye contact, making good eye contact with your animal at all times. Doesn't mean that you guys have to stare at each other, but checking in. And you'll see with seasoned pet partner teams, they'll check in with each other. It becomes more and more subtle over time, but you'll see they'll look at each other. The dog will check in, or the animal will check in with their handler. How's this going? How am I doing? Touch is the next one. So making sure that you have one hand on your animal and you have control of that leash. You have one hand on that leash. Okay. So it doesn't mean that you have to hold your animal the whole time, but you're going to be touching them or petting them during an interaction or visit. Again, you can feel the tension in their body as if they're becoming stressed. You can feel what's going on for them. And then speech tone, having a nice sing-song voice or nice appropriate speech tone with your animal, being kind to them versus, really, very rigid sounding like sit down. That doesn't really inspire confidence in people when you're visiting. To do those kinds of voice tones makes people think that you're being mean to your animal. So we try to really have it be, oh, sit, good job, thank you. So we look like a team again, and we look like there's mutual respect. Okay. So the skill spotter, when they see these different skills that the handler is performing, they're going to do a click. Okay. So for instance, if they see that the person's petting their animal, they'd click. Now the person who's the handler is going to continue through the scenario. They're not going to stop. They're just going to make a mental note that they heard a click. So really what we're looking for is for this to be a way to spot a really positive skill that we're seeing in the handler. So the handler can make that note of, oh, I did something really good. This is positive. Now, if the handler's not hearing any clicks, then we can debrief that and discuss that as well. Typically, that's not the case. Typically, you do hear quite a few clicks because people get the pets and they think about it in their head. Okay, I did the presence. I'm close. I'm petting my animal. Okay, speech tone. So usually, people are really sort of in tune with it. By the time we start the scenarios, people get it. Another thing that we'll be doing is we'll be, in addition to the pets, as the scenarios progress, we'll be adding some additional skill spots to look for. For instance, assessing the situation before you enter it. We will be incorporating hand sanitizer. For the very last exercise, we'll be incorporating some new skill spots. So by the time you get to the last one, you will have about 6 different skill spots that you're looking for in this person to see, what their handling skills look like. Does this make sense? Okay, so they get that immediate feedback that's positive. You can use clickers, you can use a bell, you can use any sort of acoustical feedback that you choose. Usually people who come to the course, they really identify with clickers because so many of them, if they have dogs, they've done some clicker training or they're familiar with the clicker training concept. Good job.